two young women be walking along the street in the late afternoon and then simply disappear? There will have been people around, someone must have seen them, yet they just seem to have vanished into thin air. These are the last pictures of Elizabeth Chau, seen on CCTV in Ealing in West London in April last year. Liz, as she was known, was Vietnamese, 19 years old and on her way home from Thames Valley University, where she was studying. Lola Shenkoya was last seen walking towards the tube station, also in Ealing, in January this year. She was 27. Police are now treating both these disappearances as murder. Both Lola's and Elizabeth's family are now here with Detective Inspector Alan Rice-Smith. Alan, what do you think happened to these two young women?
Well, Lola and Elizabeth have disappeared in very close proximity to each other. This is either a complete coincidence or they may have fallen victim to the same attacker or attackers. I believe that they've both been abducted and murdered, and I believe that the attacker must have used a vehicle, a car or a van of some nature, that they've either abducted forcibly the girls, possibly by using some concealed weapon, or that they've either duped the girls to go with them in some way by using some deception or perhaps because they knew them.
Well, let's look at Liz Chau first. What do we know about her last movements?
Elizabeth Chau disappeared on the 16th of April 1999. She'd left the Thames Valley University and in fact was walking home along the Uxbridge Road in Ealing. The last sighting actually was on the CCTV that you've mentioned at 18 minutes past 6 p.m. on that evening, and she had less than half a mile to walk from there to reach her home, but she never reached there.
Just half a mile. What was she wearing? Tell us about that.
She was wearing a black body warmer, a maroon V-necked shirt, blue jeans, and she was wearing some jewellery.
We've got a copy of her pendant here. This
Yes.
is what was a jade?
It's a jade Buddha that she would have been wearing around her neck on a gold chain.
So someone may have seen this.
Yes.
Vic, you're Elizabeth's sister. I know it's an ordeal for you coming on this programme. You want information tonight, don't you?
Yes, we're here tonight to appeal to the public for their help. We desperately need to know what happened to Elizabeth. And I strongly believe that there's somebody out there that knows something. No, I'm pleading for them to come forward. And, you know, Elizabeth was such a beautiful young lady. I just don't know why somebody would want to hurt her.
Mrs. Chau, it would have been Elizabeth's birthday, 21st birthday, just 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, she turned 21 a couple of weeks ago, and she should been celebrate her 21st birthday with her family and friends. Instead, she's still missing. We miss her every day. We love her very dearly.
What shall you do? Now, Alan, what about Lola? Because she disappeared too. What about her last known movements?
Yes, Lola went missing on the 3rd of January of this year, which was the Bank Holiday Monday following the Millennium celebrations. She was travelling on an E2 bus that she'd caught at Northfield's tube station, and she was just getting off opposite Ealing Broadway tube station. The bus driver distinctly remembers Lola on the bus and getting off there because she in fact wished him a Happy New Year, and she was in fact the only person that had done so that day. He also recalls a hat that she was wearing, a very distinctive hat that we have a copy of here.
Yes, someone would recognise this, you'd think.
You'd think so. She'd bought it in Paris, and in fact we had to go as far as Paris to obtain this replica.
So, very distinctive indeed, as you say. Akin, you're Lola's uncle. The impact on your family must be terrible by all this.
Yeah, devastating entirely. And Lola is a very nice girl, religious, and it won't hurt no one. She came to London last year, having got a degree from Royal Holloway College in Ealing. And she's just managing her life quietly before this thing happened. And we're all devastated about it. And the longer it goes, the more agonizing it is. See, and we're not very happy at all.
No, I'm sure. Well, let's see what information we can get in tonight. Someone somewhere must know or must suspect what happened to these two young women, or who was involved in their abduction and their murder. There's a reward, £15,000 for any information leading to a conviction. The number to call is 0500 600 600, or you can call the incident room on 020 8358 1777.
It's been incredibly difficult for all of us. Our lives have just frozen in time. My mother, every day goes by that she doesn't think about Elizabeth. She sees her in the street. She hasn't changed her telephone number. My dad doesn't want to move anywhere, just in case Elizabeth returns someday.
Yeah, that's the last one.
Well, we'll have to get some more then when she gets back.
Okay.
Well, you
Actually, to be honest with you, she's so cute.
Already,
I mentioned that I said there's a campaign that we're looking next Saturday.
to sing, doing something like that.
She looks so cute. Cheeky grin.
So on April the 16th, 1999, around 6 p.m, Elizabeth Chau was last seen on CCTV at the beginning of the yellow line. She was making her way home where the green icon is, and she was never seen since. She was like 5 minutes from her house. Now, I personally believe she was abducted on this side road here. The side road straight off the main road. So you got the main road out here. She was probably cutting down this corner on the way home and she got abducted. Nine months later, on January the 3rd, 2000, Lola Shenkoya was last seen outside Ealing Broadway station, never to be seen again, around 6 p.m. as well. But what they didn't show on the Crimewatch reconstruction is 6 months later, another young lady went missing, Awona Kamishka, on the 13th of July 2000. She was working on this road somewhere, making her way to Hammersmith bus station. She was never seen again.
Now, can you help please find Iwona Kaminska? She's 20 and she's from Poland. She arrived in London on July the 9th last year with a 6-month visa for an extended holiday. Except she went missing 4 days later. She knew only a few people in London but had found some casual work in a Polish-run glass shop in Hammersmith. The last known sighting of her was about 5:30, 6 o'clock on Thursday, July the 13th. When she left for work. Well, with me now is DS Sean Pearce, who's been working on the case. Hello, Sean.
Good morning.
As we say, it's been almost a year now. Are you any closer to solving this?
I'm afraid not. We really have had no firm leads at all since the last account of her leaving the glass shop at about 10 to 6 on that Thursday evening.
OK, well, talk us through her moves. I mean, she worked in this glass shop. Now, apparently she used to come... You can see her on the CCTV, can't you, the day before she went missing. So here she is, just outside. Where is this?
This is the NatWest Bank, outside of the NatWest Bank in King Street, Hammersmith.
Right.
Her usual route would be to leave the glass shop,
yeah.
Which is in King Street, towards the Ravens Court tube station. And she'd walk from that location down towards Hammersmith Broadway, where she'd get a bus.
And that's this clip that we've seen here now?
Yeah, on this clip here you can see her near the junction with King Street and the Broadway, where she'd get her bus back to the flat in Wandsworth where she was staying.
Right. So you say this was the day before, so what's unusual about the day she went missing is that she's not on the CCTV that day?
Yes, there are a number of cameras situated along King Street and we would have fully expected her to appear on at least one of those cameras had she left and taken the route that she had done previously. OK. What's your gut instinct as to what's happened to her? Well, Iwona came from a very close-knit family in rural Poland. She was well-educated, perhaps a bit naive, and it would have been completely out of character for her to have gone off voluntarily. After this period of time, we'd obviously fear the worst. OK. What about her family in Poland? How are they dealing with this? Well, it's obviously very difficult for them to cope with the unknown factor of not knowing what's happened to their daughter. They do hold out hope, but as I say, with time going on as it has, I'm sure that part of them is starting to realise that they may not see their daughter again. And the geographical distance must be difficult. Have they visited here? Yes, certainly Jan, Iwona's father, has visited on a number of occasions, and I myself have been to Poland to see them. But that distance is difficult, but yeah. we use an interpreter regularly to keep in contact with them. Well, as we say, it's been a year now, so what are you looking for people to help with now? Well, I would urge anybody who saw Iwona after that time at 10 to 6 on Thursday the 13th of July to contact us. witnesses to her movements after that time, or anybody who has got any information as to what has happened to her.
Okay, and there's a reward, isn't there?
Yes, there is. There is a £10,000 reward for information leading to us discovering her whereabouts.
Okay, well, let's hope that someone can find. Thank you very much indeed, Sean. If you've seen Ivona, please help police find her. Her family in Poland are worried sick. Call the number on your screen or email us.
So in a 15-month period between April the 16th, 1999 and the 13th of July 2000, 3 women went missing in a 4-mile radius. Now, the first thing that strikes me about this case is the areas that these women went missing are very busy and they're main roads, always hustling and bustling. Uxbridge Road, where Elizabeth Chau went missing, is a main high street. Ealing Broadway Station, where Lola Shenkoya went missing, is always going to be hustling and bustling, especially between 5 and 6. And where Ewono Kamishka was last seen is another high street, which is extremely busy all of the time. In fact, you can see from the CCTV images she was caught on the day before how busy this area is. So the detective in the Ewono Kamishka case said her shop was near Ravensbourne tube station. So the yellow icon is the last shop, or the second to last shop, that happens to be a Polish shop on King Street. The red line is King Street. The red icon is where I know CCTV camera is. So she only had to walk 600 meters and she would have made it to a CCTV camera, which happens to be the very same CCTV camera that Jill Dando was caught on a year before. But nevertheless, is it more plausible that she was kidnapped walking that 600 meters on a busy high street, or is it more probable that she fell victim to foul play in the shop? Because if she was kidnapped by a stranger on the way to the bus station, they didn't have a lot of time to orchestrate it. At the furthest, they had 600 meters on a busy high street. But on the other hand, the circumstances, the proximity and the fact that the bodies haven't shown up does show a similarity between the disappearance of Elizabeth Chau and Lola Shenkoya. We know Elizabeth Chau had to cut through a quiet road to get home, but Ewona's shop was on the high street. Would a stranger abductor have time to maneuver in that small time frame? And the lead detective does seem to hint that he doesn't believe she left the shop.
I'm afraid not. We really have had no firm leads at all since the last account of her leaving the glass shop at about 10 to 6.
What's unusual about the day she went missing is that she's not on the CCTV that day.
Yes, there are a number of cameras situated along King Street, and we would have fully expected her to appear on at least one of those cameras had she left and taken the route that she had done previously.
So like I said, there is doubt that the disappearance of Ewono Kamishka is linked to the disappearance of Elizabeth Chau and Lola Shenkoya, but the similarities are too uncanny to ignore.